I would like to give you a scripture reading from 1 Corinthians 12:4 through 11. Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of services, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but in the same God, who activates all of them in everyone. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. To one is given through the Spirit the utterance of wisdom, and to another the utterance of knowledge, according to the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another the discernment of spirits, to another various kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. All these are activated by one and the same Spirit, who allots to each one individually, just as the Spirit chooses. Each church has a variety of people with a wide variety of personalities sitting in the pew each Sunday morning. I would like to speak to you today about the often overlooked person in those pews, the introvert, and perhaps show you that introverts can be a true asset to the church, not just the local church, but the universal church as well. First, I need to tell you what an introvert isn't. Introverts don't usually sit up front in church. That's for an extrovert. They're not extremely sociable, at least not in the opinion of most people. This is an extrovert society. They're not constantly greeting others or talking or questioning others about what's going on. They are not usually too overly concerned with what's happening around them. And they are not usually asked or considered for some form of leadership in the church setting. As much as introverts do not have the above-mentioned characteristics, introverts are the quiet ones, usually on the back pew. They often shrink from too much social activity. Often they are considered shy or antisocial. Often ignored or overlooked for leadership roles within the church. The good news is there is hope for the introverts in church. According to the website www.giftedkids.com, introverts are not shy because shyness involves nervousness and anxiety. Most have good social, and even if they don't, still enjoy being with people. Introverts are more concerned with feelings, thoughts, and inner workings of the mind. It's just that engaging in small talk or engaging in social behavior with people for any lengthy periods of time drains the introvert's energy. To recover and recharge, introverts need to be by themselves, to turn inward for a while, not in depression, just in recovery. Introverts like to be asked to teach that class, be on the committee, or read the scripture, but prefer the behind-the-scenes places best. Now, you might be saying to yourself, how do you know what an introvert is like and how is it an asset to the church? I know because I am an introvert. And I am an introvert with a God story. Once a shy, introverted 16-year-old girl wandered away from her youth group, only to find herself in a strange church. Alone with a quiet, small voice startled the girl, saying, "I need you to be a part of my church." Unsure for what seemed like minutes, it finally dawned on the girl who and what was being said, and what was being asked. The girl answered with a, "You're crazy, I can't even speak most of the time. Besides, I have plans." And she ran. God laughed. Years later, and after much running in the wrong direction, the voice spoke again louder and probably crunchier. "I need you to be a part of my church." Still introverted and shy, the now woman could not see how this could be. The voice said, "I will make it so." So the woman traveled down the path. She never turned down anything she was asked to do by anyone, especially in the church. Even God asked her to finally walk a path toward church ministry, and she did. Not without doubt, not without often thinking she was crazy or maybe a bit insane. Now, I know I can only be an asset to the church by the grace of God. But being an introvert, I have learned that God has a plan for me. Even me, the introvert. I can teach, preach, counsel, and provide spiritual direction. Dr. Barbara Brown Taylor wrote in her book, Preaching, "All I know is that there is always more than meets the eye, and that if I want to see truly, I must be willing to look beyond the appearance of things, into the depth of things, into the layers of meaning with which the least blade of grass is endowed. I must also be willing to look between things and not always at things. The space between two branches may become more promising than the branches themselves. Look for the gifts given to each person. Look for the Christ within each person, even the introvert." I have to say that way a little bit.